normal, right? So that's the statistical overview that I'd like to share. So moving to the second area of focus, the second point I would like to share is the necessity and the importance of innovating your security solutions. I'm going to assume that uh, that the audience we have this afternoon are primarily security professionals, and that your primary function is in the field and in the area of physical security and perhaps some other dynamics of security. It could be cyber security or other system related security, or a combination of risk and threat. But in any case, you are security professionals with a responsibility for security. And as your organization begin to reset and move into a more gradual pattern of operation, it is very, very important that security solutions need to be innovative, because because the innovative security solutions will help businesses thrive post-pandemic. All right. So I'm going to look at 4 points that I would be sharing on some of the key considerations that you could further research and calibrate your security plans in terms of how you can creatively innovate your existing security solutions to support the business in the new normal. So organizations will need to remain creative about how they use, update, and redeploy their security systems across their facilities. So the key word here is creativity, redeployment, updating, and it has to be across the facility or across the organization's physical landscape, right? So organizations will need to remain creative. So when I say organizations, it could be your company as a whole. It could also be your security department, or it could be a combination of whichever entity that is responsible for the security of the facility or the organization. It could be your workplace resource people or facilities. So in short, organizations will need to remain creative about how you use, you update, and how you redeploy the security systems. The second point is, by doing so, it will allow you to start thinking more broadly about the role of physical security and what it can do beyond traditional applications to deliver more value to the business. So no longer are you to be just confining your security, physical security applications to just doing the traditional work of physical security, whether it's your cameras, your VMS, your access control, or your alarm systems. That is not going to be a value add to the organization if you keep within that domain. So you need, as a security leader now, you will have to start thinking more broadly about the role of your physical security firstly. And then what you can do to go beyond those traditional applications in order to deliver more value to the business. And I think you have already perhaps experienced some of it when organizations begin to allow smaller number of people coming back to the office over a period of time, where perhaps security played a role in terms of policing, social distancing, making sure that people coming into the premises uh, were not infected. So security probably had to make use of their VMS system, for example, your visitor management system. You had to incorporate your visitor management system with COVID precautionary measures all bundled up, right? So there were a lot of systems that were developed over the last 12 months where there were a lot of integration where when someone steps in, immediately temperature is taken, uh, personal particulars are recorded, cross-reference to whether they have an appointment or business to be there, tracking where they go, social distancing, and a whole list of other COVID precautionary measures were built into some of these integrated systems. And in some organizations, the security department played a major role in overseeing this part and in the operation, maintenance, and uh, day-to-day activities. So you need to go beyond traditional applications. So when we say reset the button, uh, the restriction on just keeping your security technology to traditional application is not uh, going to be a value add to the organization. Now, the third point is many organizations have very quickly adapted to the new needs and challenges that has been posed by COVID-19. And what they have done is they have used their physical security technology to be a strategic tool in the fight against the pandemic. And I explained earlier where they were able, in some organizations, were able to modify their visitor management systems to incorporate other pandemic related measures. And in some cases, they used biometrics in terms of tracking or facial recognition in order to do away with too many physical touch points in terms of access and exits and so on and so forth. So they have gone beyond traditional applications, and they have made their security technology to be evolved into a strategic tool that plays a major part in this new post-pandemic situation. And then the fourth point that I want to very quickly talk about is that COVID-19 have put an increased focus on the role and the importance of the physical security industry. And even when this current pandemic is over, let's assume that by the end of 2021, all countries have vaccinated their population. They have this, what we call herd immunity. What is going to happen is organizations will continue to look at their physical security technology and related data, and they are going to look at it from both a strategic and enterprise shaping perspective. So let me explain a little bit more. Here we are looking at the physical security industry, meaning specifically all the developers or companies that develop new physical security technology, uh, companies that develop VMS systems, companies that develop surveillance systems, alarm systems, access control systems, all the different integrated security systems, the software as well as the hardware, all these developers, whether it's HID, whether it's some enterprise level organizations that do that, they are now going to not, just say, okay, COVID is over. Let's get back to just focusing on our main business, which is security. That's not going to happen. And you can take my word for it. You can, take it to the bank. That's not going to be the case. What's going to happen is these entities or these organizations will now, when they develop and roll out new systems for the security industry, they're going to roll it out from not just a strategic standpoint where they want to capture more than just the security market. They also want to capture the environmental health and safety market. They want to capture the market that has been given birth by COVID-19. All right. And so they want to capture that from a strategic standpoint. Secondly, because organizations have started to innovate the security systems to do more than just traditional security, that in itself creates a secondary market. And so they're going to look at it from that strategic standpoint. The second thing that will happen is, as a result of doing that, they are going to inevitably shape the entire industry from an enterprise shaping perspective. Meaning, what is going to happen is you will get a lot of systems that come automatically bundled with a lot of other features that goes beyond the traditional security coverage. So we will see strategic and enterprise shaping. So therefore, it is important that you innovate your security solutions now. Look at what you have today. What can be modified, reshaped, redeployed, and then if you are out shopping for additional tools, you have to shop with a perspective in mind that you no longer are shopping for pure traditional security tools. That is not going to be happening. So security solutions that are less dependent on the human factor and physical interaction will also be the next area of focus by not just the security industry, but by end users, by your organizations. So what has happened is the pandemic essentially has pushed the security industry for solutions which are less dependent on the human factor and physical interaction, because they want to reduce touch points. There must be a reduction of too much of physical interaction between humans and whatever process that needs to take place in order to carry out a certain action, process, or end result. So the pandemic has automatically pushed the entire security industry for such solutions, solutions that will depend less on the human touch factor, or for that matter, physical interaction. So in order for that to happen, we will be seeing system integration and remote command and control becoming very good examples of how to achieve this. So you begin to see more and more systems being bundled up or integrated, and all being controlled remotely to achieve the same end result as previously, when you had to have one or several human beings physically present to open a door, close a door, issue out a physical